Welcome. Hello everybody. I'm Adam from Yoga to Go. I teach yoga throughout Vermont and New Hampshire. And today we have Frank, a beginner, and Brenna, a student of 2 years. And being that this is the first class of this series, I'm going to offer some awareness exercises, the practice of Hatha Yoga, the integration of the sun and the moon, or masculine and feminine. We're going to blend these into the movement aligned with breath. So, Frank and Brenna, if you could please stand at the top of your mat. So with the feet about hip-width apart, palms beginning against the thighs. On the inhalation, the thumbs rotate outward and palms meeting overhead at the top of the inhalation. And at the bottom of the exhalation, palms meeting the thighs. So aligning the breath, the movement, the inhalation, expanding, palms meeting overhead, and bottom of the exhalation, palms meeting the thighs. Continuing, following the breath deepening, perhaps the movement a bit slower. And while Frank and Brenna continue the movement aligned with breath, I'd like to interject that at no point in yoga is there a right or a wrong. It is simply attention or inattention. If you're new to the practice, you want to be mindful about alignment, which is part of the reason I'm focusing more on the subtle sensations aligning movement with breath. So the next exhalation, palms to the thighs. We're going to bring it to chair pose. Chair pose. Sanskrit word Utkatasana, bending the knees, the hips, the arms extended, palms facing, and the gaze up between the palms. And we'll be holding this for 10 full breaths. And the awareness gently pressing down through the balls of the feet, finding the lift through the arches, feet parallel. The shoulder blades down the back, away from the ears. Finding that balance between effort and effortlessness. Through the whole practice, integrating a breath with the movement, that movement either outwardly visible or inward through the breath and the subtle sensations of the energy through the body. 2 more full breaths. And the next inhalation, straightening the legs, hands to the heart, pressing to stand. Namaste Tahi. On the next exhalation, arms wide and overhead, bending the knees, returning to chair pose. And on the exhalation, folding, bending at the waist, not the hips, hands to the mat. Walking the feet back. And walking the feet back to down dog, or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pedaling it out, bending one knee and then the other. In rhythmic flow with the breath. The head and neck relaxed, gazing towards the ankles. So the head and neck relaxed, gazing towards the ankles, the fingers wide, and pressing down evenly through the base of both fingers. Perhaps the movement of one knee bent to the other in that rhythmic flow with the breath. The breath even and relax, and settling in to down dog. So the legs perhaps straight or slightly bent, extending out from the palms, out upward through the spine, as well as extending out the heels even if the knees are bent. Always aware of that connection to the breath. No sense of strain or tension. The goal of Hatha Yoga, to release tension from the body. The body will, of course, become stronger and more flexible, but those are really the superficial benefits of the practice. The regular practice, the benefits far past that. And the next exhalation to the knees, sitting back on the heels, arms extended for extended child's pose, forehead perhaps to the mat, maybe even the third eye, not the hairline, so the neck is long, breath full. And slowly walking the hands over to the right side, lengthening from left hip to fingertip. So the breath remaining full. Awareness to that breath. If there's any fluctuations in the breath, tracing that inward. And on the exhale, releasing that tension. Slowly walking the hands back to center. And over to the left. Inhaling, stretching long from right hip to fingertip. Still maintaining that balance between a comfortable stretch while retaining your energy, not dissipating it. And slowly walking the hands back to center. Inhaling to the hands and knees, to all fours. Palms under the shoulders, knees and feet hip width apart. On the exhalation, rounding through the spine, chin to chest, coming to cat. And on the inhalation, releasing the belly earthward, gaze outward. So continuing that fluid motion with the breath. Exhale, navel to spine without strain. And inhale, releasing the belly earthward, gaze outward, shoulder blades back. So including the shoulders gently in the movement. Fingers still wide. Inhale, equal to exhale. And awareness to each vertebra. Spine loosening, lengthening. The inhale and exhale through the nose, allowing the breath to warm. And slowly back to center. Forming the body into a C, bring the hips to the right, gazing over the right shoulder, and slowly back to center, over to the other side. So inhaling back to center each time, and exhaling, forming the body into a C. So always tapping into the power of the breath through the movement. Once again, whether it's obvious movement that you can see, or the internal movement that you can feel and experience, the breath, and more. And slowly back to center, curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. On the inhalation, lifting the right leg extended. So equally grounded through the two palms, the left foot. Head and neck remaining relaxed. The awareness within to the subtle sensations arising. Through the regular practice, that awareness expanding to things previously unnoticed off of the mat. And bending the knee to nose, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, expand it. Inhale, stepping the right foot forward to high lunge. And lifting the arms, the heart, the gaze. And the shoulder blades down the back. The toes relax. At first, perhaps making subtle movements, deepening into the pose without strain. And then finding that razor's edge, that balance between effort and effortlessness. One more inhalation. And on the exhalation, palms to the mat, stepping the right leg back to plank pose, so one straight line from heel to head. And slowly lowering to knees, chest, and chin, keeping the hips slightly lifted, elbows into the body. The breath still steady, easeful. And through either straight leg or bent knee, pressing back to come to down dog. And the inhalation, lifting the left leg extended. So pressing out through the heel, inhale remaining equal to exhale. Making any subtle adjustments in the hips. And exhaling knee to nose, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, expanding. Inhale, forward and rising to high lunge, left toes aligned to the fingers. Inhale, lift it. And the gaze perhaps upward without straining the neck. Awareness remaining within to the breath through the whole practice, as well as experiencing the sensations arising, both physically and otherwise. 2 more full breaths. Inhale. Exhale 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. And slowly releasing the palms to the mat, stepping the left leg back to plank pose. And slowly to the knees, chest and chin, elbows remaining into the body. And releasing to low cobra pose, tops of the feet, hips to the mat. Inhale, lifted through the head, neck, and shoulders. And curling the toes under through straight leg or bent knee, pressing back to down dog. And the inhalation, lifting the right leg extended. The next inhalation, stepping forward for low lunge. So toes aligned with the fingertips, palms remaining to the mat, and perhaps palms to the blocks. As we're going to draw the right knee straight, chin over shin. So straightening the right knee, drawing the navel to spine, not forcing the forward fold. Open the hand. So wherever you are in the practice is perfect. The success of the practice reflected to your uninterrupted attention to wherever you are. Hatha yoga not about how far you go in the pose, but your experience inward. And we'll bring this to a gentle flow. So inhaling, knee over ankle, but not beyond, gaze outward. And exhale, drawing the right leg long once again. So incorporating that cat-cow sensation, inhaling, knee over ankle, gaze outward, and exhale, chin towards the shin. Continuing, following the breath, inhaling, gazing outward, and exhale, navel to spine. Twice more, inhaling, gaze outward, expansion across the chest, and exhaling, navel to spine for cat. This next time, forward, knee over ankle, hands to the right knee, releasing the left knee to the mat, hands to the right knee, hips forward, so stretching the front of the left quadricep, perhaps bringing the top of the left foot to the mat, taking a breath there. And on the next inhalation, lifting the arms if you're comfortable with that. Maybe hooking the thumbs, the palms can also be facing, depending on your shoulders. And the toes relaxed, the breath relaxed for 3 more full breaths. Feeling that expansion and contraction through the whole body with each breath. The next exhalation for the twist, left palm in line, with the right arch. Inhale, lifted through the right arm, and followed by the gaze. So the left knee can either be grounded or lifted. Pressing the palms wide apart, stretching across the chest. 2 more full breaths. And on the exhalation, releasing the right palm to the mat and drawing the right leg long. So left knee to the mat, the right leg long with toes lifted for half monkey pose, or Ardha Hanumanasana. So continuing to gently draw the right hip away from the right heel. Maybe a slight variation of moving the hips to the right or left, finding that sweet spot of tension or holding. Not straining, maintaining a comfortable breath. And the next inhalation, forward to low lunge, knee over ankle. Palms to the mat. And stepping the right leg back to plank pose. And slowly releasing to knees, chest, and chin. Elbows in, gaze out, hips slightly lifted. And releasing the hips to the mat, tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale, lifted through the head, neck, and shoulders to low cobra. And curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. And the next inhalation, stepping the left foot forward for low lunge. Toes aligned with the fingertips. And with or without blocks, drawing the left knee straight, chin over shin, into the stillness at first for 5 breaths. So awareness drawing the navel to spine, left hip away from the left heel, the knee as straight as your body allows, keeping in mind there should be no pain in Hatha Yoga, at least physical pain. Oftentimes through regular practice, especially for beginners, there'll be emotional releases. And inhaling to a flow. So inhale, knee over ankle, gazing outward. And exhaling, drawing the left leg long, chin over shin. So the movement, the pace of the movement, directly affected by the breath driving the movement. The key component separating Hatha Yoga from typical exercise is that no movement occurs without that awareness to the breath. Each engagement to the core with the leg long, navel to spine. Top of the inhalation, expanding outward across the chest. And this next time, forward, the right knee to the mat. Top of the right foot to the mat, hands to the left knee. So with the hips gently moving forward, stretching the front of that right quadricep. Either remaining there or inhale, lifted through the arms, followed by the gaze. For 2 more full breaths. And the next exhalation, preparing for the twist. So right palm in line with the left arch. Inhale, lifted through the left arm, followed by the gaze. The right knee either grounded or lifted. With the knee lifted, extending out through the heel. That right quadricep engaged. And for 2 more full breaths. Inhale, exhale 1. Inhale, exhale 2. And releasing the palms to the mat. the right knee to the mat, drawing the left leg long, chin over shin for the half monkey pose. So gently, the toes lifted. By lifting the toes, we stretch from the heel through the Achilles to the calf, the hamstring, with no pain at any particular point. And the next inhalation, knee over ankle and pressing the left leg back to plank pose. And to knees, chest, and chin. So hips slightly lifted, expanding across the chest. And releasing the hips to low cobra pose, tops of the feet into the mat. And curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. And releasing to the knees to extended child's pose, sitting on the heels, forehead to the mat, arms extended. Bring it to full child's pose, the backs of the hands to the bottoms of the feet. Forehead or ideally third eye to the mat. And if your forehead does not come to the mat, that is also perfect. And on the next inhalation, coming forward onto the abdomen, returning to Cobra Pose or Bhujangasana. So laying on the belly, forehead to the mat to begin the pose, palms under the shoulders or deeper, fingertips below the armpits. And on the inhalation, drawing an outward arch through the nose, chin rising with the head, neck, and shoulders. So the lower body grounded, continuing to gently press the tops of the feet, front of the thighs into the mat. With the upper body becoming light and buoyant, more so with each breath. There's a gentle outward spiral to the palms, drawing the shoulder blades a bit deeper down the back, chest expanding. 2 more breaths. Inhale, exhale 1, inhale, exhale 2, and slowly releasing, turning your head to one side, arms alongside the body. Taking a few full breaths with your awareness to that gentle, rhythmic rise and fall of your abdomen on the mat. Preparing for a half locust, bring the chin to the mat, working the arms under the body, as if somebody's standing over you, wouldn't even see the elbows. And on the inhalation, extending out through the right heel, right leg lifted. Inhale, remaining equal to exhale. And slowly releasing. On the inhalation, extending out through the left heel, left leg rising. So the only engagement is from left buttock to left heel. The rest of the body completely relaxed. And exhale, slowly releasing. Releasing the arms from under the body, palms to the mat and pressing to come up onto your back. So flipping over, head toward the front of the room. Laying on your back, knees bent, heels to the buttocks. The feet about hip width apart and parallel, neither turned in nor out. To bridge pose. Engaging from the core, pressing the navel into the mat, tailbone lifted. Then pressing through the feet, slowly rising like a wave, lower, middle, upper back. Interlacing the fingers, hands palm to palm, perhaps gently rocking the body to work the upper arms deeply under the body, deepening that chest expansion for 5 breaths. Retaining that lift through the arches, pressing a bit more through the inside of the balls of each foot. The heart heavenward, perhaps offering up your practice to that which you hold higher. One more inhalation, and the exhalation, releasing the hands, engaging from the core, lifting the heels, rolling it back to the mat, tailbone last, knees gently side to side. And coming back to center, bring the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms, head to the knees for a few full breaths. Also a great pose to release gas if you've eaten too much. And on the next exhalation, releasing the knees for reclining eagle twist. So right leg over left, once or twice. Bending the left knee, left foot to mat, in line with the spine. Scooting the hips to the right, knees to the left, and gazing over the right shoulder. And with the awareness inward to the breath deepening to all four parts. Our body's completely supported and held. So inhaling to the expansion, experiencing that pause, to the exhalation, to the following pause. Experiencing all four parts. The pause between each, a reflection of that stillness or peace always present within us. Inhaling slowly back to center, unraveling the legs, squaring the hips, and to the other side, left leg over right once or twice. Scooting the hips to the left, knees to the right, and gazing over the left shoulder. Awareness inward. Perhaps creating an offering or intention for your practice. Often done at the beginning of practice. An intention may be inviting something into your lives, releasing something out, or simple gratitude for this one and only moment. And the next inhalation, coming back to center, unraveling the legs, squaring the hips. Bring the knees into the chest and drawing small circles with the knees first one direction. So releasing any accumulated tension from the lower back. And slowly in the opposite direction. And coming back to center, finding a comfortable restorative pose for Shavasana, typically corpse pose, so the legs long, palms slightly upturned, arms slightly away from the body, maybe even toes slightly splayed apart. So Shavasana is the deep relaxation where we integrate all the benefits of the previous poses, and Shavasana just as important as everything preceding. Just as all four parts of the breath equally important. There's no aspect in the practice of Hatha Yoga holding more power than the other. So deepening the breath, the awareness within, drawing your awareness to the heart center, and the next inhalation expanding outward to the periphery of the skin, and exhaling back to the heart. Inhaling, expanding to the periphery and slightly beyond, exhaling back home to the heart. Continuing, following a gentle expansion and contraction. Typically, Shavasana in complete silence, but I'm going to offer a brief reading from the Radiant Sutras by Lauren Roach. Extend your awareness into the bodies of other living beings. Feel what those others are feeling. Leave aside your body and its needs. Abandon being so local. Day by day, constrictions will loosen as you become attuned to the current of life flowing through us all. I want to thank you all for joining us in this beautiful practice today. I wish you all a most beautiful and peaceful day. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you.